Hi guys. Today in this session I'll be talking to you about the different cases in German language, and these cases are the nominative case, the accusative case, the dative case, and the genitive case. For those of you who don't know what these cases are, I hope that you will understand it by the end of the session. You can't actually define what cases are, but you have to understand what this is in order to understand the essence of the German language. First of all, I'll be talking in the session about the initial three cases: the nominative case, the accusative case, and the dative case. The fourth one, genitive case, preferably I'll maybe do it in another session. But let's first do the initial three. Now, in order to understand the genitive case, let us take a simple example. Take the verb give. Now, I'm making a sentence with this verb. I am giving it to you. So when you're using the verb give, you always are doing this action to someone or to something. I am giving it to someone. I am giving it to something. There is an action involved from one person to another, and hence this verb give always takes dative. Now let us take another verb, see, to see. Now I am seeing you, or I see you. Here we are not seeing to anybody. There is no action from one person to another. It's just I see you. We don't say I see to you. So the verb see always takes accusative. Now this is the case in German language. Now take the English word you. If you translate this word you into German, you can actually translate it to different words. It can be du, it can be dich, as well as it can be dir. Now, how can you know which one to use in a particular sentence? Is it du, is it dich, or is it dir? Now, in order to know that, you need to know which case this particular noun you takes in the sentence. If it is a dative case, it takes dir, and if it's an accusative case, it takes dich. If it's a nominative, it takes du. Now, earlier I said a sentence, I am giving it to you. I told that since the action is passing from one person to another, this verb give always takes dative. So if you translate this sentence to German, it will be Ich gebe es dir, because the dative case for you in German is dir. Similarly, if you translate I see you, see always takes accusative, and hence the translation will be ich sehe dich. So here the word you in German is dich and not dir. Now let us evaluate what will happen if you interchange this dich and dir. Ich sehe dir, which is completely wrong, means I see to you, which makes no sense at all. At the same time, if you say ich gebe es dich, it means I am giving it you, not I am giving it to you. That is the basic difference between dich and dir. Now let's come to the initial one, the nominative case. What is nominative case? I just mentioned two sentences here. Ich sehe dich, ich gebe es dir, which means I am seeing you and I am giving it to you. In both these sentences, I am the doer of the action. Hence, I take nominative. In all these both sentences, it is ich, which is the nominative. First sentence, let's take ich sehe dich. Ich is the nominative, dich is the accusative case here. At the same time, the second sentence, ich gebe es dir. Ich is the nominative case and dir is the accusative case. It is the dative case. Now, I will give you some examples of accusative and dative verbs so that you will get a better idea on how to use it. First of all, the accusative verbs. As I mentioned before, sehen, which means to see, is the accusative, takes accusative always. Ich sehe dich. Another verb is schlagen, which means to beat or to hit. Ich schlage dich, which means I beat you. If you say ich schlage dir there, it means I am beating to you, which is completely wrong. Another one is überreden, which means to convince or to persuade. Ich überrede dich. it takes accusative. At the same time, some dative examples. Ich gebe es dir. Gebe dir. I am giving it to you. Similarly, the verb antworten, which means to reply, always takes dative. I am replying to you. Ich antworte dir. Similarly, schicken. If you are sending a gift, say, I am sending the gift to you. Ich schicke es dir. That is the way the German language works. Now, there are definitely some exceptions to these. But for example, I will tell you the verb helfen, which means to help. In English, we say, I help you. So, you must just think, if you translate it to German, it will be, ich helfe dich. But it is not that. It is, ich helfe dir, which if you literally translate to English means, I am helping to you. But that is just the way German language works. That is the way the Germans think. Now, I have seen many people who simply by heart which case a particular verb takes. For example, they just by heart, geben takes dative, sehen takes accusative. But that is a completely wrong approach. Rather, you must understand the logic behind how these cases work, and then it will come automatically from you if you truly understand the nature of the language and truly understand how to think in the right way. So instead of by hearting, try to understand the logic when you see a particular verb and the corresponding case. Now let us talk about the nominative case, which is basically the easiest case in German language. Almost every sentence in German has a nominative case. The nominative is nothing but the subject or the doer of the action. For example, in all the sentences that I mentioned just before, I was the doer of the action. I am giving it to you, I see you, I am convincing you, and so on. This I in the sentence is nominative. That's it, and that's as far as nominative goes. In the examples that I just mentioned before, it was the noun you or du in German. It was to that one which took the accusative and the dative cases always. Now let us consider other possibilities. You need not always say I am giving it to you. You can say I am giving it to him or I see him. How do you say that? Well, it's as easy. He in German is er. Er, er. I am now the accusative form of er is ihn, IHN, and the dative case is simply ihm, IHM. So if you want to say I see him, you say ich sehe ihn. That's it. And if you want to say I am giving it to him, ich gebe es ihm. The same case with her. Now the German word for she is sie, S-I-E-Z. And the accusative case of sie is z itself. Now that is something you have to understand. The accusative case of z is z itself, and the dative case of z is ihr or ihr, ihr. So if you want to say I saw her or I see her, you say ich sehe sie. And if you want to say I am giving it to her, you say ich gebe es ihr. Now what about you when you say it in formal terms? Most of you would know that there are two terms for you in German. One of them is informal and the other one is formal. The one that I just mentioned before, du, dich, dir, were all informal, and there's another one which is known as sie, which is the formal one. Now the accusative of this sie, formal, is sie itself, and the dative of the sie is ihnen. So when you want to say I see you, you say ich sehe sie. I am giving it to you is ich gebe es ihnen. And how do you say about me? See, in all the sentences it has been I has been subject, ich was the subject. But now what if you are the subject and I become this object of this conversation? For example, you see me. Sie sehen mich. See, mich is the accusative of ich. Similarly, sie gebe es mir. Mir, M-I-R, is the dative case for ich. I hope this video was informative for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it will make your German learning a bit easier. Now, if you have any specific doubts, please leave it in the comment section below. If you want me to make some videos about some difficult topics which you find it difficult to understand, that please leave that also in the comment section. If I have time, I will definitely look into it. Bye.